Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're watching us from. We're coming to you from Dallas, Texas, the venue for the 2024 edition of the East African Business Network Investment Conference. This is arguably and probably the oldest African-centric investment forum of its kind, happening annually here in Dallas, Texas. And now to get us going is the founder and also the founder president of the East African Business Network, originally the East African Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Benson Kasue is all set to speak to us about this event. Benson, great to have you. This is a broadcast that is coming to you courtesy of Kurunzi News and Legend Media. Let's talk about this event. Almost 20 years of running it. First of all, tell us a bit of history, and you build into this year's event. How different is it, and what can we expect?
My gratitude first for the Cruise News and you for reporting this matter and sharing with the communities out there what we're doing. So, about 19 years ago, we wanted to find a way to bring companies to East Africa to help improve unemployment. And that was really what led to us getting together and working on a way to facilitate that. So we sat somewhere, several of us, and trying to think through. It was originally Kenyans, but we decided that Kenyan problem is not a Kenya problem alone. It is an East African problem, it's an African problem. The issues we have in Kenya are faced in Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, DRC, and South Sudan, and so forth. And so often, most of us come here and you start getting these funny phone calls about people wanting you to help because the needs are many, with school fees, tuition, school uniforms, people are sick. And so even when you're young in America, you don't accommodate those, you cannot do it, you have no money. So, but we thought that if we can teach a fisherman how to fish, it'll be better than just continuously sending money home. It's not sustainable, we don't have that kind of money. So the reason we started the East African Chamber of Commerce, so just do that to facilitate trade and investment between US and East Africa. And that's what really we do. We do that by having these annual trade conferences annually to get people from East Africa to come over here and let them mix up with the diaspora and US business class and just create a marketplace for them to talk about the possibilities and actualize them by signing contracts with each other, and they carry in the business. We are a non-profit. We're just a marketplace where you come and trade. We provide the market, the table, and they do their game.
Okay, talking about being a marketplace and creating the connection between American businesses and the East African region, obviously brings in a very key aspect of business, which is, the facilitative role that government and, the governance system plays in terms of policy. Again, America and Kenya, or Africa as it were, different business environments in terms of the policy framework and, the regulatory structures. How do you bring those elements together to make sure that as differently as the geography is and the business practices, then you're able to have an environment that is facilitative enough, that appreciates the differences in approach, but at the end of the day, everybody gets value for what they intend to put together?
The embassies in Washington, D.C. from East Africa are our key partners. They attend this event for that purpose, to clear any misconceptions or any items that might be pending in terms of policy. We also invite our government leaders, the members of parliament, senators, and so forth. They come here. They are represented. So we let them do that. In our meetings, we explain to folks who they are and what they do, and we invite them to come and clear out any items that relate to policy. However, if you want to go set up a shop in East Africa to facilitate trade, you don't really need, you just need to go to that country and see what the mode of operations are and get into business to work. Policies are impacted by various items, but when you look at the US and Kenya trade relationship, it's solid, it's set. Those policies have been really ironed up by those higher up, and we've been a part of those conversations. Sometimes we're invited to them, so we understand fully what is required. But at the end of the day, if you take a manufacturing company to go to East Africa, they'll be welcomed with open hands because we want them there. We want to do their product, we want to their kids. So that's all set up.
In other words, you're talking about getting a lot of support from the different government entities.
Yes.
And by the way, I need to point out that when you talk about these kinds of conventions, you're also talking about, if you talk about local engagements, you have local in the American context and you have local in the Kenyan context. So let me talk about the exhibitors that we see that you're working with, the business owners that come to your marketplace. You're providing the marketplace, and you have different businesses that come to display. So who are these exhibitors that we see? Are they all American? Are they all Kenyan? Who are they?
They're mixed. They're not all Kenyan nor American. They're a mixture of Kenyans, Tanzanians, Ugandans, the Americans. So they're mixed, or even Congolese. And so they're a mix of each and Rwandese. They're all mixed in. And that's what we as EAC, East African Business Network, represent. Not just a single country, but the entire region of East Africa. We're now 7 member countries and a population of over 300 million people. What a marketplace that is. So, no, we are not looking to promote one country, because that's not who we are. We are the East Africa Business Network.
Okay, let me just get a little bit. I've looked at the program, and in the messages in the program, I see different remarks from, American leadership, from the governor, the mayor, and everybody. Tell us about the kind of support that you receive from the American political and governance establishments.
Thank you. This morning, the mayor representation was here. The mayor attends our event, and the same as the ambassador of East Africa community. We also have gone to and established a relationship with the governor of Texas, because we're in the state, and the legislatures there. So we have a relationship with them. We know our local senator, we know our local congresswoman, and we work with them. When you need them, we invite them to this event. Now it's a political year, so they could not be here, but they support us 100% because they also, the Texas interest is to be able to sell their products outside Texas. And for that purpose in East Africa, to set their shops there and market their products there to East Africans, that's their interest, because that creates jobs, increases wealth. That's their number one interest. Our interest is almost similarly. We want them to do that. By doing so, they'll be helping us accomplish what we were set out to do: eradicate unemployment, increase money going to people's pockets. So this is where the synergy is created.
Lastly, I know you're busy and you need to get back in for you to be able to deal with the other issues. But let me ask, are there areas, everything, it can be as successful as it has been, but obviously there are areas that need to be worked on. Are there advocacy areas that you feel like maybe, you need better intervention or better collaboration between, the different governments, the US and East African governments, and the different entities to make the environment even better and the investment ecosystem a bit more improved than it is? It could be at 80%. Why not look at having 100%?
Thank you, Ryan. There's no perfection in life. We seek to attain, but we're not there yet. We work very closely with Prosper Africa, U.S. Commercial Services, and U.S. government Department of Trade. We want to improve that relationship. Essentially, again, because of the political year, they cannot be here, but they send their reps. But we want to strengthen that relationship because there are things that are happening between U.S. government and East African governments related to trade. After the African Free Trade Area agreement was signed, that agreement was meant to really make sure that the countries trade the same. In other words, what agreements are signed for Kenya or Nigeria or South Africa, the same. Eswatini, a small tiny country, Lesotho, they need to have the same deal. And so US is now set up to work with Kenya to try to refine that and use it as a guinea pig to see they can get it done. But every country has different interests. So that's the challenge. We want to be able to be provide solution. It's what we see here in diaspora, and also with our knowledge from the East African region, what would work to make these things work. So I want to be more in that group, on that table, talking, to listening and talking, providing input. That's an area of improvement we like to do. The other thing we want to do is also a relationship with the government in East Africa. We are non-government entities. We are non-profit organization, and so we don't let government come and dump money on us and set the stage on what we need to do. We don't do that. Then that takes out the diaspora element of us being laissez-faire. And so, but we do want to be able to have a better relationship with government so that they can listen to our voice more and they can understand what diaspora is trying to do. So really those are the areas of view that, well, the other thing is we need more outreach of diaspora also. We are here in Dallas. We like to go to work and do an event in Dallas, one in DC, one in West Coast, East Coast, and even Canada. So that's the goal. And we also want to invite younger people to be able to participate because they are the future. We want you young Gen Zs to be involved and take roles because we are a dying generation. We are facing a sunset, so step up.
Well, I'm going to let you go, Benson, but later on I know we're going to engage a bit more on the other elements that you've talked about in greater detail. But for now, we just wanted to set the stage for what is going on. And Benson Kasue is the founder president of the East African Business Network, established or founded 19 years ago as East African Chamber of Commerce, and it has grown into something bigger. And he just talked about something that pricked my mind a little bit. He's talking about Gen Zs, and you know what Gen Zs are doing world over. They are changing the script and changing the whole platform of politics and governance and leadership as we know it. And maybe, Benson, when we get an opportunity, we will go political and talk about some of those things and even ask you whether you have any concerns as an entity and as citizens of the United States and Africa, in East Africa for that matter, whether you have any concerns in terms of certain decisions being made at the level of government. But that is for another time. So we are here, and there are different exhibitors here at this event, and we will be able to sample some of them, speak and engage with some of them. But also inside that hall, we have different sessions going on by way of panel discussions where they're talking about different subjects, from construction to manufacturing to healthcare and name it. So we are going to get in there, try to bring it all together. So if you are a business and you are in Dallas, probably this is where you need to be. And if you're not, and you want to grow your business, this is where you need to be. And if you can't make it, look for this man. He has all the information, and together with his team. And of course, we will try as much as we can to make sure that you are updated and you get to know what is going on. Once again, this is a broadcast coming to you courtesy of Kurunzi News and Legend Media. Let's get in there and see what is going on.